more accountability from public and private entities with regard to transparency, with regard to water resources. How do you square that with your support for deregulation?
Easy. When it's jeopardizes public safety, it's always going to be a place for the government to step in and do what needs to be done to protect public safety. It's first and foremost.
Let me answer, please.
That's fine.
I think that's Representative answer. Okay, Todd Jennings, please.
My question is for Ms. Grizzle. Your opponents passed and sponsored some legislation that affects senior citizens in a positive way, guardianship rules and others. Can you name one of those bills and how you would expand on it if you were elected?
Well, the nursing home bill he passed, which is a good thing. However, somebody passed away right after that being left out in the sun. So I think we could do some more work on the nursing home bills. And also, I think we're all on the same page as far as the senior citizens. I mean, I'm getting close to that myself, so I don't see any reason why we'd be against that.
That brings up a good question. We're going to start with Kathleen Peters. What is one bill or idea for a bill, and we're going to work all the way down to proposed by the other party that you support?
For 3 years, I supported the equity bill. Typically, that was sponsored, originally that was sponsored by a Democrat in Orlando. Right now, I think Holly, a Republican, might have it now, but it originally started as a Democrat. And that is to ensure equitable treatment for any gay, lesbian, heterosexual, bi. And I think it's important. And in the beginning, 4 years ago, I didn't support it because there was a statement in there that would have been discriminatory to businesses that had a uniform. And I told them, I said, if you change that, you got my full support. I'd even sponsor the bill. And they didn't change it that year, but they did the second year. They called me, we talked about it, we got it fixed. And ever since then, I've co-sponsored it ever since. We just haven't gotten it passed yet.
Representative Latvala.
Thank you very much. For the past 2 years, I've had the honor of being the prime co-sponsor to a bill that Representative Murphy, who's a Democrat from Newport Richey, sponsored, which was a nuclear cost recovery fee that Duke and Progress Energy imposed on us, and it would have repealed it and refunded our money or refunded the utility money back to the customers. And so I was proud to do that. I also have supported bills proposed by both Representative Dudley and your son.
Tough question to follow up for you. There's the party of Latvala. Can you give me 2 instances where you have broken with Senator Latvala?
Commissioner Welch brought up one example in his first question. And I know that there's been other instances, but I can't, I would have to think about it. That by far was the biggest one, but there's been other bills. In fact, there's a bill I wanted, I probably should throw him under the bus, but he killed one of my bills a couple years ago. So, there's times that we do disagree, but it's an honor to serve alongside.
Thank you. All right, Representative Ahern.
Thank you. Representative Irv Schlossberg sponsored a bill that would take the money from the tickets, from some of the money from the red light tickets, and instead of it all going into the general fund, it would be used for driver education and training and so forth. He's a big proponent of those types of things, and I was proud to be a sponsor of that particular bill. Plus, I also co-sponsored in the Representative Rousson's backyard gun bill as well.
Ms. Grizzle, I'll give you the same opportunity. Is there one singular Republican idea that you could get behind that you've seen come out of the legislature?
Good question. Well, I think we're going to see some bills come out for the environment, and I would be right behind that. And I think that I see 2 people here who would do that too.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go with Art, and then back, yes, and then Senator Latvala. So a little triangle there.
Art O'Hara. We're seeing major metropolitan newspapers around the country and some leading Republicans switching their endorsement, and some of the papers for the first time in their 100-year histories endorsing a Democrat for president as opposed to Republican. I'm curious as to whether or not any of you, and for everybody, are going to be supporting Donald Trump for president or Hillary Clinton. Thank you.
Next, we will start with Representative Latvala and then Brown.
Recently, my opponent, who's not here, stated that he couldn't understand how anyone could ever support Hillary Clinton. He also called the Democratic Party corrupt and said that they cheated Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. So I would agree with his assessment on Hillary Clinton.
But let's just follow up. Will you be voting for Donald Trump? And
Yes.
okay. All right. Ms. Grizzle, will you? I heard you're not going to be voting for Donald Trump. Will you be voting for Hillary Clinton in November?
Absolutely yes, and I think she's the most qualified person up there running for president.
Thank you. And I think Representative Latvala was onto it earlier when he talked about, once you're elected, you represent all the people, not just your party. And unfortunately, with some of the name calling and that Mrs. Clinton has sort of tagged us with or put us in that category with, sadly, it's that she would just not understand that she represents everybody, and that those types of things are well, I won't even use the word that she used to call me that.
Representative, I think the question is, hold on. All right.
I will be supporting the Republican nominee for president, and that'll be Mr. Donald Trump.
Thank you very much.
The original question was, are we going to endorse? I have not endorsed anybody, and I have no intention of endorsing anyone. It's enough just to deal with the state issues that I'm dealing with, mental health and homelessness and the other things that I've tackled. So no, I'm not endorsing anyone. And when it comes to the day when I go in to vote, I'm going to have the same kind of opportunities that you do, where I think real hard. I am a true Republican. I'm very conservative. I'm a compassionate conservative, and that's probably where I'll lean. But right now, to answer the first question, I am not endorsing anybody.
We're going to let that go right there.
Jim Gillespie, a lot of constitutional lawyers in Florida and the Tampa Bay Times have questioned if the amendment of the medical marijuana bill should be placed in the Constitution. The Times made a pragmatic argument that it should be a statute because of the imperfections in it. Science would advance, changes would need to be made, and it would be much better coming from the legislature. Each of you express your positions on that.
I'm going to condense that. We're going to start with Ms. Grizzle, and it's going to be, do you support Amendment 2, and why or why not?
I support Amendment 2 because I think it's the only way it's going to get through. Unfortunately, our legislature will not do anything about it. And I'm not speaking specifically for the members, but as a body of the whole. And one of the things that happened to me, I had a child in my second grade class who had seizures, and she passed away from her heart condition, which was a result of the seizure. She was a shaken baby syndrome child in my special ed class. So I saw where that could help this child. What they have out there right now would not have helped her, and I think we need to do it and do it without delay and in the legislature.
Representative Ahern?
Yes, I don't support Amendment 2 for some of the very same reasons. There's no definitions in the Constitution, and there's no way to change it to make sure that you can get what you want. And we have been working the last 2 sessions, and we did pass a medical marijuana bill, and it's being set up to be grown, but we hold it all accountable. We pay for it. We make sure it's the low THC variety. It's not the smokable type. Those are the types of things that really Amendment 2 seeks to do away with. And you'll end up with recreational marijuana here if you vote for Amendment 2. Ultimately, that's where it's going.
I don't support Amendment 2. I don't think it should be in the Constitution. I think if there's going to be any more changes other than Charlotte's Web, which already addresses seizures, so we've already done that. Absolutely no, I do not support it. I think it's recreation, and I think what I've learned in the last 2 years on mental health, and there's research, substantial research, that says that marijuana is, because of the reduction in dopamine, is one of the #1 reasons for severe depression. And genetically, if it's in your genome, you can have your whole life and never have a mental illness, but if it's in your genome, marijuana, every regular use of it could trigger it. I've learned too much, and I can tell you, as far as substance abuse, the #1 reason our children are taken away and put in foster care is because of substance use. The #1 reason. The people going to our prisons in Florida, more than 80% of them, the #1 thing that they need is substance use services, and when they come out back into the community, the #1 reason, the #1 resource they need is substance abuse. Not mental health, not mental health. I couldn't believe the numbers when I saw it. It was substance use. So no, I don't support it.
Thank you. Representative Latvala.
Thank you very much. I do not believe that it should be put in our Constitution. It's something that the legislature should deal with statutorily. And the legislature has passed bills helping kids with seizures the last couple of years, including other folks as well.
Thank you very much. Sean, real quick, how much time do we have left in the program overall?
You have, how long is your lightning round?
5 minutes.
So after Jack will be last question.
Oh, after, all right, we're going to get 2 in because those are 2 of my favorite.
Be quick.
Yeah. So we'll go Senator Latvala. We'll just go to Gregory Wilson, and we'll close with Dan Drake for geography's sake.
This is quick. I have a question for Representative Latvala. Where in the world did you get that tie?
One minute, please.
Number one, I told you you weren't allowed to ask questions since you didn't abide by that. Number two, from your closet.
Gregory Wilson.
I'm Gregory Wilson. We all read the paper this morning about the sinkhole, and we learned that in 1984, I believe, that notice came out quickly to the surrounding area, and in 2005, some regulation changed that allowed people to not have to give warning for some period of time, possibly endangering people's health and well-being. You're all off the hook for that because you weren't elected back then. But have you authored a bill or supported a bill that removed regulations or weakened regulations that by most definitions today would endanger people's lives in a situation similar to what we're reading about this morning?
Okay, we're going to start with Representative Latvala.
I did vote against the fracking bill. Last year I was one of, I believe, 6 Republicans that did so. And some of the arguments being made by people that were against fracking mentioned things like sinkholes.
Okay, I'm going to skip over you on this one. Representative Ahern.
At least to the best of my knowledge, the deregulation type bills, any deregulation type bill that I voted for that is currently in statute has not had any detrimental effect. Again, public safety is always the #1 key when doing any type of deregulation, be it for architects or hairdressers, whatever it might be. We look at those every year to see if there's any undue burdens, but nothing to my knowledge that has passed has created that situation.
How did you vote on the fracking bill that Representative Latvala brought up?
I did vote for it on the floor.
And Representative Peterson, add up the answer to the fracking bill if you don't mind.
Okay, I can't think of any deregulation in the last 4 years that I've been in session that would cause any harm. So, I'm not thinking of anything at the top of my mind. Now, on the fracking bill, Representative Latvala and I have a different definition and interpretation of that bill. My goal was to have a total ban on fracking. That bill, if it passed, put a moratorium on fracking, and it couldn't be lifted unless the legislature voted on new regulations after a study. So it gave us the ban. It was the only bill that came before me that banned fracking. Moratorium and a ban on the very same thing, and that was the objective and why I supported it. And once you get that moratorium in there, it is not an easy thing to lift something that, and to bring it back up and to take that back. So I'm very proud of supporting that fracking bill because they put a moratorium on it.
Thank you very much. And we will close with Andy Hall.
Thank you. Ann Drake McMullen with Royal Wealth Management. The Florida Department of Transportation has plans to replace the Howard Franklin Bridge. As part of that replacement, they are going to take one lane up the 408 and toll it. Do you have any alternative funding options other than tolling the bridge to continue to improve our basic infrastructure, in particular Howard Franklin Bridge?
Yeah.
We will start with Ms. Grizzle.
Well, I think we need to look at how the gas tax is being utilized. Because I'm a teacher and I'm down here in Pinellas, I haven't seen those figures, but I think that's where we should look first. And we also, some of our tax money that we use for our tourists, we could use for the roads. But like I said, I would love to do the research on it and get back with you. I don't agree with what they've done, and I think Senator Latvala spoke out for that, and I think he's completely correct. They should not hide that from us.
Thank you very much. Representative Ahern.
Yes, I would agree that Senator Latvala's letter, I think, was pretty clear about taking away a lane. I think we were all under the mindset that it was going to be an additional lane to help speed up traffic or allow you a shortcut, so to speak. But I think we have to address the bigger problem, both state and regionally, about the gridlock in Tampa Bay and Pinellas County, Hillsborough County. So in terms of funding it, that's always the biggest question. But we do have some opportunities with Senator Latvala as the appropriations chair to maybe address some of those in the upcoming sessions.
By the way, Senator Latvala would love anybody to come to his office if they do have an appropriation idea. I spoke with him about that, and he said that he was open to any funding project in Pinellas. It's going to have an open house. Representative Peters.
I don't support the toll on the bridge, especially if they're taking a lane down. But I don't support a toll on the bridge. I don't like that. The only bridge that we have to pay right now to get over in Pinellas County is on the Bayway. And I got a problem with that only the people going to Terra Verde and St. Pete Beach have to pay a toll to get to and from their homes and go grocery shopping. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. When we redid all the other bridges in the county, from Clearwater to CM Key to Bel Air to, even Treasure Island, no tolls. But on the Bayway, they got to pay a toll. And so, no, I'm not a fan of the tolls on the Howard Franklin. And do I have a suggestion? No, but I think it's worth exploring numerous options.
Thank you very much. And Representative Latvala. And your time.
Actually, I got my tie at Ross because I'm frugal. But as for the tolls on the Howard Franklin, I am against tolling the Howard Franklin. And I told the Times that last night. And as for how to pay for it, obviously use existing budgetary funds that we have and prioritize that.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to do a lightning round. We're going to go 5 minutes. We're going to start with Representative Ahern. You're all going to get the same questions. You can just stand up and answer rather than, I think we'll get through quicker. All right, so first question. You're coming from Tampa Airport. And you have to take a ride home. Do you take an Uber, Lyft, or a taxi cab?
Uber, Lyft.
Are you supporting Amendment 1, the solar power amendment?
I am.
Give Rick Scott a grade for his time in office.
A B.
And who will be your party's gubernatorial nominee in 2018?
Adam Button.
Okay. Representative Peters, same questions. You're taking a cab from the airport, or you have to get a ride from the airport. Are you taking an Uber, Lyft, or are you taking a taxi cab?
Taxi cab.
Are you in support of Amendment 1?
No.
Okay. Give Governor Scott a grade.
A.
Okay. And who will be your party's nominee in 2018? Gubernatorial nominee.
Oh, I think Senator Latvala. Now I left the room. I'd be a great nominee.
Chris Latvala, same round of questions. You're taking a trip from TIA, Uber, Lyft, or taxi cab?
Uber.
And are you in support of Amendment 1?
No.
Give Rick Scott a grade.
B.
And who will be your party's nominee for the governor's office in 2018?
I personally hope it's Jack Latvala. If not, Jeb Bush.
Okay. And last round to Ms. Grizzle. Are you taking a ride from TIA, Uber, Lyft, or a cab?
Well, I'd have my son get me, but I guess I could say either one, actually. I don't have a choice.
Okay. Are you in favor of Amendment 1 or not?
The solar?
Yes.
No.
Give Rick Scott a break.
Yeah.
We knew which way that was going. And who will be your party's gubernatorial nominee?
Woman, that would be Gwen Graham.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's give everybody